At this time, I'd like to call our regular meeting to order. And this evening, before we start our meeting, just would like to recognize and truly with a moment of silence, Hope Mills has lost 3 of our residents this week. Probably the one most familiar to everyone is Lawrence Smith, who was a longtime member of our historical committee, was very involved in the pictures that we have of Trade Street, and was probably the true historian of Hope Mills because he knew more anecdotal types of things about what happened in our town and the relationship with the mill, the train station, the hospital. He knew a little bit about everything. So we've lost an icon with Lawrence Smith. He does have 2 daughters, and they are going to have a service tomorrow. Another one is Tommy Bissett, who many of you may know because he was a member of a quartet that sang in a lot of the churches. He was a member of Carroll Memorial Baptist and also Northwood Temple, but he succumbed to COVID-19 this week also. And then we have Paulette Munson, who Paulette, for those of you that knew her, she was very involved in politics in Hope Mills and Cumberland County. She was very active every election. She would usually work either up here or at Grace Creek, but she lost her battle with cancer. But these 3 members of our community, it's sad that this has happened at this time of year. But it's even greater in that this is just another number of people that we've lost that are so important to our town. So our prayers and condolences are with their families, and we're very concerned that if they need anything, that the town's here for them. Tonight we have with us Pastor Michael Mathis of Mission Field Ministries to lead us in our invocation. If you will, please rise for the invocation, which will be followed by our Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh God, you alone are God and there is no other. We thank you for being involved in the affairs of all of humanity. Lord, and even in saying this, God, we once again acknowledge our great need for you, and because of how frail we are, even at our best state. And simply put, Lord, we repent corporately, and we repent individually of anything, God, that would hinder us from experiencing the best that you have for each of us. We repent, oh Lord, and we're always so especially grateful for you tell us to give thanks for those that lead us and to those that protect us. And so we thank you for our leadership. We thank you for Mayor Warner and her family and her board members and the entire staff that work so very hard and diligently to do the best they can for the citizens of Hope Mills. We thank you. We thank you for the shield of protection around them. And God, we would be fearful even going anywhere if we didn't have your guardian angels, the law enforcement. We thank you for Chief and all of the men and women, God, that put their lives willingly in harm's way to protect us. We're just so grateful, God, for them and all the fire department and just so many, Lord, that I can't even think of that affect the peace and bring about the peace here in the town of Hope Mills. And so, Lord, most of all, we're especially grateful, glory to your name, for the abundant blessing and your favor. And even in the midst of these very difficult times that we live in, oh God, we have hope because we know that you love us. We thank you, God, for how you can have allowed the town of Hope Mills to prosper. We thank you, God, for the great things, Lord, even that you're doing now that our eyes have not seen. We thank you for the sacrifices of the people in the town of Hope Mills, what they've made, God, to make this town a great place to live. We thank you for the growth that's growing so very fast. And now, Lord, I'm always reminded of the wisdom of man which is good. But Lord, we lean and depend and we rely on the miraculous way that you endow us with your godly wisdom. And so the agenda is set. Grant them the wisdom they need, Lord, to discuss the things that we have to talk about tonight. We thank you now. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. At this time, do we have any additions or deletions to our agenda that's before you? If not, do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Seeing none opposed. Next, we have a special presentation. And I'm going to ask Mayor Pro Tem to assist in this special presentation. I see that we just have one here, so if you'll go down there, I'll hand it to you. What we have, and the reason for this special presentation tonight is we have a group that Mayor Pro Tem McCray has been very involved with, and that's our prime movers. And our prime movers have requested special certificates for special businesses that have helped them as they have their meetings. So this evening we have a certificate of appreciation, and it's awarded to Marcy Mangs Cakes and Bakes for your donation to the Hope Mills Prime Movers. And we just want you to know, Marcy, you continue to help us in every way that you can. And this new special group that's very involved in Hope Mills, we appreciate you supporting them. And so I ask this certificate, if you'll present this to Marcy, and Marcy, if you'll come forward. And thank you again for everything you do for Hope Mills. The other businesses that will receive a certificate likewise is Smithfield's Chicken. We have a special one for Island Teas Cuisine. We have a special one for Carly C's. And we have a special one for Melissa Robbins from Ellis Sweets. And again, these businesses have gone out of their way to help our prime movers. And what we'll do is make sure that these get to these businesses and let them know just how much we appreciate everything they're doing for Hope Mills. At this time, we have public hearings and the financing approval for John W. Hodges Public Safety Center project loan. And I'll turn this over to Mr. Holland. Again, this is consideration of adoption of Resolution 2020-41, and it's also consideration of adoption of Resolution 2020-42. And this will be what will be for us to decide after we hear Mr. Holland's presentation.
Right, the public hearing is just for the financing for the John W. Hodges Public Safety Center project. We sent out 8 RFPs to banks for the construction loan. Remember, this is just for the construction loan. And we heard back from three banks. 2 banks declined to bid. The other banks we didn't hear from, obviously they didn't bid on it. And then there was one bank, though, that did come through with a bid. That's PNC Bank. They did 1.46% for 2 years for the construction loan, which is still excellent for having one bank respond with an actual bid. The other 2 banks, one of the banks said they could not bid because we didn't have any money at their bank, which usually is a little bit, I think, backwards. Usually you do the loan, and part of the loan requirement is you have an account with us. The other bank responded and declined to bid on it. And then when the local bank asked if their bank, I guess their governmental loan program, bid on it, I said, no, they didn't. And they said, well, we're going to try to do something locally and get in a bid, but they weren't able to do it in time. So they wanted it. So they said in the future, send it directly to them instead of their corporate headquarters. So anyways, I've got that in my notes. But so we've got the public hearing and then 2 resolutions. So after the public hearing, I'll talk about the 2 resolutions.
Okay, at this time, is there anyone here that would like to speak in reference to the financing approval for John W. Hodges Public Safety Center? For or against? Anyone have comments? And do we have any that sent email or any type of comment? Okay.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Okay, so at this time, we close public hearing. I'll turn it back over to Mr. Holland.
Okay, so the public hearing for the loan is really a requirement from the local government commission as part of the application, which is the first resolution that you're approving. It's a resolution to apply to the local government commission for approval of this loan. So that is the first resolution. The second resolution is actually the approving of the actual installment financing of the loan itself. And again, it's $14,325,000 for 2 years at 1.46%. So it will be interest-only payments that will add up to roughly $420,000. We'll make one payment each year. And then at the end of the 2 years, this loan is going to be paid off by the USDA loan, which is going to be the ongoing loan that we pay off over the next 35 years. And I believe, if I remember correctly, that one's at 2.25% for 35 years. But that's going to be more because it's going to include the interest and any fees associated with this loan. So that's the 2 resolutions you are approving tonight.
Do you have any questions from the board or?
Mayor, I don't have any questions, but I'll make the motion.
Okay.
But before I make the motion, I want to thank Drew. Let me take this thing off. Thank you, Drew, for sending back the information about the items that was included. I thought that was really helpful for us to understand exactly what was packaged up. And this is a good deal. But I want to make the motion to go ahead and approve the financing approval for the John W. Hodges Public Safety Center project loan, consideration of adoption of Resolution R 2020-41, approval of LGC financing agreement, and consideration of adoption of Resolution R 2020-42, the approval of the installment financing.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Seeing none opposed. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank y'all. And just to give you a quick update, I will get the application to LGC before the end of this week. We will be on the docket for the first Tuesday of January for their approval. I think it's January the 5th. We will close on the loan on Thursday, January the 7th. And we've got the estimated construction schedule from the contractor. It's not in stone yet until we get all this stuff approved and sign some more things. But right now they're looking toward the end of January, like I think it was the week of January 25th, to actually start the project. And then 2 years from now, we'll have us a wonderful building to be in.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next we have, it's a non-public hearing, but it's case number 20-146, and it's Big T's building to bring the establishment into compliance with ADA requirements. Request for site plan review, Hope Mill zoning ordinance, zoning R15, total acreage 73.46, location 3607 North Main Street. And this, of course, was submitted by the town of Hope Mills. And I'll turn it over to Mr. McLaughlin.
I won't bother you guys for that long at all. This is our project. It's on our property. If you recall, the Public Works Department, Don Cisco and Bruce Clark has been working diligently for about the past year to bring a lot of our facilities into compliance with ADA. And from my understanding, in order to bring the Big T's buildings into compliance, this extra area had to be added to the back for the bathrooms. But because of that exterior construction, that triggered the site plan approval. It's our building. It's on our property. But we do have to go through this process just like what we did with the public safety building. We don't have any issues with the project at all, but we do have to get board approval.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. McLaughlin? If not, do I have a recommendation from the board?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the case 20-146 for the addition to Big T's building to bring it in compliance with the ADA requirements.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Seeing none opposed. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Do we have any public comments this evening? None. Okay, thank you. Do we have anything that you would like removed from the consent agenda? If not, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda that's before you?
Motion,
Yes? Yes?
sorry.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion to approve consent agenda and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Seeing none opposed. Old business update on the Par 4 development project. Is there anything other than what we had in our tab 6?
No, Madam
Okay.
Nothing new.
Nothing new. All right, next for new business, we have discussion of the CSX bridge condition. This was requested by Mayor Pro Tem McCray. Do we have information about that?
Other than what's attached, there's a lot of information attached in your packet. If the board wants to discuss,
I know from the previous time when this was brought before the board, that the main reason it was denied or the board voted against it was the requirements from CSX. Would that be something we'd want to address again with the new board and see if the sentiment has changed?
yes.
Okay.
Yes, I mean, I'm more than willing to, let, the prime movers, or if you all want to direct me to, whatever the board's, prerogative of how you wanna move forward. I just know that, previously, when the former, Public Works Director, was notified by CSX that because the damage that was already there, that was discovered, and when, they notified us that when we were gonna do the pressure washing, and they said, if there's any more further damage that was caused by the pressure washing, that, they were going to make us pay for that damage, and it could be, hundreds of thousands of dollars, or, I think there was even $1 million was thrown around, and Hector just said, oh, no, forget it, we're not, no. And then they also required us, I can't remember, but it was somewhere, Drew's left, but I think it was somewhere in the range of $3 million worth of liability insurance, upwards of that, just for the liability insurance. And we normally carry, as a rule, $2 million. So, we were gonna have to purchase additional liability insurance, so that was a little bit of a headache as well. So we were willing to do that, but then when they threw that other thing in there, that became even more of a headache. So, I'm not sure, I know that there's some contacts there through the prime movers. There's some people on the prime movers that have, and also, Mayor Pro Tem's husband, has some personal contact there as well. So it's the board's discretion how you would like for me to move forward.
Madam Mayor, may I?
Yes, sir.
I know we went through all this stuff once before.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion that we ask the town manager to negotiate something with CSX and bring it back to the board at a later date. Is that the proper thing to do, town manager or town attorney?
And just if we could add to that, I believe that what we talked about before, Commissioner Legg, was the possibility of painting, of having it so that it was done. I think they listed a couple of other locations that the bridge had been painted so that what happened, it wasn't pressure washing as much as it was filling it in and making it look more presentable. So if the pressure washing was the issue, then I'm wondering if there would be a problem with it being an art project as far as the reclaiming it and making it look prettier than, so.
Mayor Warner.
Yeah.
Commissioner Lake, with your motion on, would you mind changing it to, instead of the town manager, the prime movers, going forward with what they had already suggested?
I don't mind that if it doesn't slow the process down. I didn't see Merry Christmas on it anywhere, but
Madam Mayor,
Any contract, any contract is ultimately gonna come before the board anyway.
Right.
What you're really asking is.
Yeah.
well, I'm just going to ask you.
Yeah.
Start the
Right.
communication and see if some arrangement can be reached that could be brought to the board for approval.
Yeah. Well, and I think if we allow them to do it, they might be able to accomplish it quicker, but we'd still, before anything was done, the town board would have to
We
approve
still
it.
have to approve it.
So,
all right,
I would suggest sort of a combination of that, the prime movers in conjunction with the town manager, would both be involved in
Yeah,
that.
I'd be fine with that.
I'll
Okay.
change that motion to ask the mayor pro tem to have the prime movers involved with the town manager.
Okay.
And I understand what they're talking about the pressure washer, because all that mortar mix on there is coming apart.
Yeah.
It's coming off in big slabs, and if we hit it with the pressure washer, then we're probably gonna have a mess on our hands,
might be able to fill in the cracks with paint and other stuff and make it,
caulking or something.
yeah, do, in other words, make it look better without pressure washing it again.
Madam
Okay,
Mayor,
we have a
I had
motion, yes,
I
sir.
had a question for
Uh-huh.
the Mayor Pro Tem. What's the scope of the work that the prime movers really want to do with the bridge?
Well, initially, they wanted to see if they could do like an art project, and they even asked CSX, maybe if we could do some branding for them, or add some of the CSX logo into it. He got some, actually, one of our members who's an attorney, he actually reached out to them first, and he got some good feedback. Of course, it was one person that sent them to another person, but they did respond. But when I was looking in the old emails, I do see that there was another group that wanted to do a painting project before, but Hector at the time said that there was a lot of water runoff and leaks. So that may not even be an option
Right.
now. But if it's not an option for them to do an art project, because I don't know, because I saw that once we got the agenda packet and I started looking through
Yeah.
the emails. I don't know if we have an agreement with CSX, but I don't know if it needs to be pressure washed, it needs to be, if they wanna paint it, and then I don't wanna have to do this I don't know the last time it was painted or cleaned up, but I know with it being a gateway into Hope Mills, one of our main gateways, I know that it does not look, and I know that this has been a long drawn out battle. I know people have said this battle's been going on for years. But, and I do know that we entertained it 2 years ago, but I wanted to know if anything had changed. And I do believe it's an eyesore, it looks horrible. So I don't know if there is something that they're willing to work out with us, or, I mean, I don't know if it's a need basis, or if it's every 3 years, but something where it doesn't look the way that it looks. I mean, I know that it's been an ongoing process, and I know that it's been looking like this for years, but I just think, I do think it is an eyesore. But the painting project may not even be an option now that I see that this
Yeah.
water runoff thing.
I think it comes down to what will CSX allow.
Right.
And I think that's where we are.
Right.
You know, and I appreciate the prime movers taking this mission on. It was discussed a couple years ago, and I read through the historical emails that were put in the packet and saw the very same things that you did. And that's the reason why I asked that question, you know, to see what the scope of what they want to do, and then compare that against what will CSX actually allow the group to do with that. And I think
Right.
that's where we are.
Yes, yes.
And the only way to answer that question would be to allow the town manager to have conversations with CSX representatives and just see where we go.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I would like to thank the prime movers and the mayor pro tem, and I think you guys are right. She should probably work with the manager to see if we can solve that problem.
Yeah.
We have to do that on a lot of things, you know, so, and Mayor Pro Tem, I thank you very much for the service that you put in with the prime movers.
Oh, thank you. I thank the prime
Yeah.
movers for,
Yeah.
they're a busy group, they're energetic.
Yeah.
But,
Very
I,
energetic.
yes, they're very energetic, so,
Yeah.
but I thank them for, they pushed it and they actually have done the work and
Yeah.
they've done their research.
They have a lot of good ideas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll call for the vote on that,
All right,
Madam Mayor.
all righty, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, we have consideration of Resolution R 2020-43 exempting Heritage Park Phase 1 from GS 14364-31, the Minnie Brooks Act, and authorize the town manager to amend the design contract with McAdams. So, we'll turn it over to Mr. Morrison.
Good evening.
Good evening.
As you all may or may not know, this is the statute is standard procedure for design services. However, since we already have a good architectural engineering firm, they've done a great job for us with the grant and the master plan. They're familiar with the project. This particular resolution allows the town to exempt the project from that process and let us amend the contract with McAdams without having to do an RFQ and full knowing that most likely we will go with McAdams because they are the architectural engineering firm of record. So with that, I'll take any questions you may have about the project. I understand there's a few, so.
Okay, someone have questions for,
Yeah, I understand that we have grant money that was matched to start on Heritage Park. Do you have any idea of what is going to be done in Phase 1?
Phase 1, if I don't have the plan in front of me as part of the grant, but Phase 1 was going to be the parking area, the open space, the picnic shelter, the flume or the water feature, and then also the trail feature.
But that money will, the grant money and the matching money will go toward all that.
Correct, and then a portion, the town's portion, I want to say around $74,000 was allocated towards the design phase of the project. So this $32,000 will go. It's part of that $74,000 allocation.
Thank you, sir.
That comes out of our,
Right.
Correct.
not the grant.
Right. That's part of our match. That's part of our match. The design phase.
Madam Mayor.
yes, sir?
LaMarco, hey, this is an excellent start, no doubt.
Thank you, sir.
And McAdams is the right group to go with, without any question. They've been behind this thing. They designed it. We talked about Phase 1 during our retreat.
Correct.
And McAdams had a representative at our retreat, and all the items that are discussed and presented in this packet is exactly what Phase 1 is. I'll tell you, some folks believe that Phase 1 is going to do a tremendous amount of work down there and do all kinds of things. Well, I'd love to see the project built on that amount of money, but that's where the start is.
Right.
So there's going to be some limitations to the project, but we'll get there. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, any other questions?
Nobody else has any questions? I'll make the motion to
Okay.
approve it.
Okay. We have a motion to approve Resolution 2020-43 exempting Heritage Park Phase 1 from GS 143-64.31 Minnie Brooks Act and authorize the town manager to amend the design contract with the McAdams Group. We have a motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Seeing none opposed. Next, we have.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And
Thank you,
thank you
Lamarca.
for the things that are out there for Christmas. Mr. Morrison, Parks and Rec has done a great job with our Christmas, with the circumstances we've had to deal with. I've heard only positive comments about the decorations, about Santa, about the tree lighting, about the tree down at Episcopal Church, so good job.
We appreciate it. We have fun doing it.
All right, manager's report. Is there any additions to our manager's report?
Yes, Madam Mayor,
Okay.
I do. I have a couple of updates. Excuse me while I put my readers on. Sorry. Getting old is for the birds. Okay, so, I do have an update. Public Works, Director Don Cisco has informed informed me that the date that they will begin lowering the lake level for the annual maintenance will be January the 11th, 2021. And as we did last year, we will put that out on social media and we will put it in the newspaper. We did not do individual notices to the property owners last year. So we put it on social media and we put it in the newspaper. Also, I have an update. I got an email from Richie Hines, and he has indicated that he has spoken with his hydraulics unit this past Friday, and they are trying to finish their review so that they can make a recommendation. Once they get back in touch with him, he will let me know the dates that we can work out to meet this month. We're trying to meet this month. I gave him some specific dates that worked for my team. Also, I gave him the 2 dates in January. I thought January would probably be a better time for the update, for the funded projects update. And he has asked Darius Sturdivant, Division Planning Engineer, if he can attend one of the meetings in January with him to discuss the projects. He said he is available and also suggested that it may be helpful if members of FAMPO can attend as well. So that's the update on that. And also, the main sign at the lake has been removed and a new one is being fabricated. And then I put, this was not included in my manager's report, the flyer for the seniors gift fruit baskets, but I put one at your spot at the diocese on December 11th. Fire Chief Hodges is going to be helping the Parks and Rec give out fruit baskets. And we put that on social media as well. And that is it. Thank you.
All righty, thank you. Okay, we have our reminders. Probably the most important is that Thursday, the 24th, and Friday, the 25th, and Monday, the 28th, town offices will be closed. They'll also be closed on January the 1st.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, sir.
before we move on, can I address one of the items on the reminders?
Sure.
And when I address it, I'm going to address the board for some consideration. And it's regarding our next meeting in December, on December 21st. Is there anything that, and I'm going to ask the town manager, is there any time-sensitive issues that will be presented that night?
On Monday, December the 21st, we had one public hearing, and you had asked me previously if we could move that, and we have inquired about that, and we can certainly move that to January 4th without any issue. And also, in addition, the auditors can come in January as well. The audit has been submitted, and there's no issue whatsoever, so it's up to the board.
Reason I'm asking that, Mayor, thank you, Melissa,
You're
is due to the COVID-19 restrictions, and we know what those are. Maybe this would be a good time to cancel the December 21st regular meeting and have everything that needs to be presented in January.
Is that a motion?
That is a motion, sir.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? The hearing that we were supposed to have, it won't delay whatever it's in reference to for their next stages, next steps.
No, Mr. McLaughlin,
Good.
is there any issue with it, with the public hearing is that gonna delay them or put any hardship on them?
Not from any conversations I've had with Karen.
No.
Okay.
Okay, so we're good.
Because I think
Okay.
that's the only thing is once before we got into an issue because of moving something that created a hardship because it meant another month before they could get their approvals. Okay, we have a motion and a second in order to cancel the December 21st meeting. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Seeing none opposed.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you, Board.
All right, next we have updates. Do we have anything, Commissioner Edwards, from Appearance Committee or Mid-Carolina Council?
The Appearance Commission met, but they did not have a quorum. And the Mid-Carolina Council of Government had a telephone meeting, and I couldn't get in touch with them, so she's going to send me an update. Were you there?
I did. I attended.
Okay, would you mind?
I did. Okay, give you the main thing that the Mid Carolina Council. I'm a member by the senior Tar Heel representative, and what they did was we approved the meeting dates for 2021. They had a legislature update, which mainly that update was that they haven't been able to meet. So that a lot of the normal procedures that we would do with the legislature, it hasn't happened. And then they just had an opportunity for the election of officers, and the chair would be Pat Dutton from Harnett County and the vice chair Mary Brown from Sampson County. And it was done between Zoom and teleconference, and that meeting was held December 3rd. So
Thank you.
that was the extent. You're welcome. Next, Commissioner Legg, Historic Preservation.
Yes,
and
ma'am, thank you.
Brulac. Okay.
Our historical preservation meeting will be this coming Wednesday, so we have nothing on that from the last meeting. And Mr. Bellflower stood in for me for Rulock while I was in Kentucky. So if it's all right, I'm going to ask him to present the report from them.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner Lane. It really felt good to be back to set in with the RULAC committee, because a lot of the things that they approved were things that we worked on a couple years ago. One of them, they approved the bylaws, they approved the strategic plan, the urban plan, the operating budget, and the finance report from last year. So it was a very good committee, short meeting in a way, but a lot of actions were approved. So that's the report, Madam Mayor.
Okay.
Thank you for sitting in for me, sir.
It was an honor.
Okay, next we have Commissioner Martley with Veterans Affairs.
Veteran Affairs Committee did not meet this month. They won't be meeting again till after the new year. I will say though, I was looking on Facebook and they were very busy this weekend decorating on Trade Street. It looked good, and I just ask everybody to remember what the day is, 79th anniversary of Pearl Harbor, and so it's been pretty strong today, so I know that's on their mind as well. So everybody just remember what the day is.
Thank you for recognizing Pearl Harbor today.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem McCray, Parks and Rec, and Cumberland County Air Quality, and Prime Movers.
Madam Mayor, if you don't mind, I'll have Mr. McGeechee come up and do the presentation for the prime movers. I'll let you do that first, so you can leave if you would like, Mr. McGeechee, if that's okay.
That's good, yeah.
Good evening. Thank you so much. Again, my name is Jerome McGeechee, Chairman for the Hope Mills Prime Movers Committee. And as she said, we're very busy. I know we probably get on her nerves with so many emails, but we're very busy, and that's good news. So far for the quarterly update, what we did for Thanksgiving, I kind of unofficially made my little boy and one of our members' wives an unofficial member of our committee because they are doing tremendous work. We went out to Carly C's, and the manager saw my little boy in the newspaper, and he was like, yeah, I'm talking to him. He won't really pay me much attention. He's like, where's your little boy? Talking to him. So he's like, you need some grocery bags. So he gave him like 30 or 40 bags of groceries with cookies and non-perishable items that we gave out for Thanksgiving. And with that, we went out to the Alms House and we donated about 15 bags to Mr. Mitchell and the Alms House to feed for Thanksgiving. And we also went to Felva Tech. And even though Felva Tech is in Fayetteville, a lot of us here in this area go to Felva Tech for various reasons. And as the old people saying, it's a poor fish that won't praise his own pond. So, of course, she was in the newspaper. So we say, hey, we're going to help the food pantry out with that as well. So we donated in 2 capacities for Thanksgiving, since we were initially going to do the Operation Turkey Drop, but it was canceled due to the COVID. So that was one thing. The CSX, no need to talk about that, but thank you guys for approving that and going forth with it. And I'm pretty sure you know Mr. Nathan Warfel. He's on our board. So thank you guys so much for helping with that part. And we'll definitely do our part in making you guys proud. The toy drive for the 2020 toy drive is the individual I just spoke about, his wife, Kenny Rogers. He is the sub-chair committee for the toy drive. And so what we did with Baldwin Elementary, Rockfish, and Seawain Collier, we reached out to the social workers, asked them if there's any needy families, and they all gave us families, which was about 25 kids. So as of right now, we have a total of 85 kids that we're going to give gifts to, and it's only 25 from the elementary schools, but we also reached out to Cumberland Road, which is the Boys and Girls Club. Of course, that's Cumberland Road. It's in Fayetteville. However, they do service Hope Mills. So we want to let you guys know that we are serving Hope Mills as the best of our capacity. But Hope Mills, the Boys and Girls Club, Salvation Army, things of that nature, they also service, Fayetteville, Grace Creek, Spring Lake, everyone else other than us as well. So we reached out to them, and right now we're about 71% completed with doing that. Out of 85 kids, I think 61 already have a gift. Well, don't have a gift yet, but they have a gift with their name on it, basically, in our presence. What we're going to do, we're going to reach out on the 14th or the 15th and to the social workers at the schools, give them their gifts. Maybe we can get with LaMarco or someone and meet them, or maybe at the town hall, at a police department somewhere, meet them at a central location and give them out to the social workers, and she'll distribute them to the students at her leisure. With the Boys and Girls Club, we're probably going to do the same thing, go out to Boys and Girls Club and distribute it out. Well, give it to the director and let him or her handle it. We don't want to be going inside and all that stuff. Let her handle it. With that being said, the last thing is we are, as you said, we're very busy. Other things we're trying to do is we're going to do we're thinking about doing a mentoring program next year, kind of like maybe partnering with the mayor's mentoring group program. Get some, we got to get our wording, but basically making men. So we have, noble guys such as this young gentleman and the police chief and these guys and this guys. We're going to get with the church or someone, have Smithfield Chicken donate us food or something, and have a little hour conversation. All the boys come in with their suit and tie, look sharp, and tell them, hey, what do you need to do to get your Juris Doctorate? What do you need to do to be a mayor? What do you need to do to this or whatever? And do the same thing with the girls as well, the ladies. They're going to do whatever they need to do to be a successful young lady as well. That's another thing. Adopt a Highway, the mentoring program, and of course, we're going to do the same thing with Christmas as well. We have several more bags. My little boy and I went to Carly C's on Thursday, and they gave us 40 more bags. So one of our neighbors saw us, and he's like, hey, can I give them to my church? So my little boy donated to Grace Tabernacle, and they gave them to his church. So we're going to do the same thing with the Christmas. We're going to give to the Alms House as well, give more to Felva Tech. And if you guys know anyone that may need anything, we always at the Alms House with Mr. Mitchell, maybe on Thursdays, and we'll donate, give bags, whatever you need. And if we can help you guys, and Mr. Drew, he left. Thank you to Mr. Drew as well. He did a financial part on this last week, and we had some financial contributions to our Prime Movers Committee, and we didn't know who to write the check out to or what to do. So he basically said we need to get a 501c3, or if we want to open up an account with our 3 principal officers with the assistance of a town staff such as him or the town accountant or town manager or someone else on their name. So things switch out, it won't just be the volunteers, it'll be the paid staff as well. So those are some of the things that we're doing, and thank Mr. Drew, of course. And if you guys want to come out to our Prime Movers meeting, please do. It's not just for us younger people. And Mr. Drew was surprised because we have food. So we try our best to have food every meeting. So come on out. We promise not to get your blood pressure too high. Well, if you got diabetes, we'll keep you away from the sugar. So come on out, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Excellent.
The The Air Quality Stakeholders Committee has not met again, I think January, and the Parks and Recs, he always gives a thorough job in the manager's report. I don't want to repeat anything, but, I did see a couple of things that was updated in the manager's report with Parks and Recs at your like page. The followers, you have 8,328 followers. And it said that you had 500 of those since the posting of the Christmas events, which I think is really great. I did enjoy the Christmas tree lighting ceremony this Friday. The committee we were a little leery about having it, but Mr. Morrison did a good job of making sure everything went off and was safe, and Megan did a good job as well.
Yep.
And I walked by here. I was doing my morning walk Saturday. I saw the Christmas tree, the pictures with Santa, and so you all are saying here that it was sold out.
Yep.
And I was really excited about the. He mentioned that they were approved for the grant to have the virtual learning, and they said that he could offer is free or charge for up to 25 students, and I know that's going to be really needed in our area. And they're still having classes for our seniors and the 18 and up, the Zumba and under construction. And I think that is about it. Just that they have a lot of Christmas events that people can participate in, and that flyer is attached to the report as well. So I don't think I think everything else is in here. I don't think it was anything different in the Heritage Park, which we've already talked about. But that was it, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. This evening, we had our Mayor's Youth Leadership Committee. We did have 2 in person, and the rest were by way of Zoom. Very active committee. The young man that is the chairman, Tristan Sutherland, has not only an agenda, but a timeline, and just it's amazing what they're getting ready to do. But like the prime movers, their focus is on educating about waste and cleaning up and making Hope Mills beautiful. And they've going to start a campaign, and that campaign they've identified, they're going to call him Rayford the Roach, but it's a cartoon character that they're going to use and do PSAs and move forward with educating the public about the different types of waste that we have, but also gearing toward having an event in the spring. But there's 18 total in the group, and they represent Grays Creek, Jack Britt, and Southview, and it's amazing how well they work together and the conversations that they have. And tonight, at 5 till 7, I had to say, I'm going to get off of Zoom. I'm going to leave you guys here that are still on, because they had to finish up what they had on their agenda for the evening. Very proud of them, and hope at some point to let them have a joint meeting with the prime movers, because those that are seniors that will be approaching the age to fit into prime movers, we want to keep them involved, because they are a great group, very technological savvy. FAMPO, I did not have anything with FAMPO, and Joel Strickland did move to a new position in another county, so the director of FAMPO will change prior to our next meeting. We did have a Mayor's Coalition meeting that what was requested was something that had not happened since COVID, and that was we have missed out having an update from the Fayetteville Cumberland County Economic Development Corporation, and we believe that we needed to have that because it was something that all municipalities were missing out, because Fayetteville gets the prime information, of course, because the Fayetteville Cumberland Economic Development Corporation is actually located in downtown Fayetteville. So this Friday at 8 a.m. we are having an in-person meeting with anyone that cannot come. Will be by Zoom, but we're going to meet and have an update of what's going on in the economic development of Cumberland County, and then most specifically what's happening in our area, because there is a lot more happening right now in the Hope Mills area than there is in the Fayetteville area. So that's the main reason for that. And then the only other thing that of course we have had is the involvement with Parks and Rec and what we've done for Christmas. And at church yesterday, it was nice because they were complimenting the town on having something safe and having something that the community could participate in if they wanted to, but also the lights. They were very impressed with the decorations at the lake and the fact that we're putting forth that Christmas spirit. So again, it makes me proud to be a part of Hope Mills. Staff comments, do you have anything?
I'd like to thank the elf that left me stocking on my desk. This is very
Thank you,
cute.
dear Warner.
You're very welcome. Anything? No, you're good? Oh, you're very welcome. And official comments, I'll start with Commissioner Bellflowers.
Just want to wish everybody a safe Merry Christmas over the holidays. Got a lot of challenges with COVID-19, as we know, but you know, we still can honor and respect ourselves and the true meaning of Christmas and the spirit of Christmas. So I just ask everybody to have a safe holidays in whatever way they can do that. Thank you, ma'am.
Commissioner Edwards?
Those are my sentiments exactly, and I would like to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas, a safe New Year's, and hopefully 2021 will be a lot more prosperous and safer than 2020. And just remember who we rely on, and at the end, it's all up to him, but we have to help him. Merry Christmas.
Mayor Pro Tem?
I'd just like to continue to thank the staff for all the hard work you all are doing. I think we are in the board. We're making great progress. And even though we may not be able to do all of the things we would traditionally do for Christmas, we are healthy and we are alive.
Yeah.
So that is
Yeah.
enough for me. And I would like to say Merry Christmas to all of you and our citizens as well.
Commissioner Marley?
Yeah, I just like to, I was gonna mention what Dr. McCray said. We had a short meeting tonight, but we got a lot done. And I want everybody to know that this board is working hard, along with the town staff. You know, just tonight, 3 major projects that we moved forward in a matter of an hour being here together. You know, the Public Safety Center is moving forward. That's finally going. The Heritage Park, you know, Big T, the renovation of Big T's, improving our parks and rec, and that's for the citizens, you know. So this board is working hard for the citizens of Hope Mills. Our town staff's working hard, and hope everybody has a safe holiday and Merry Christmas. And like I said, 79th anniversary of Pearl Harbor. Had a lot of military in my family. I never chose that route, but I appreciate everyone that has made the sacrifice so we can be here tonight to have this meeting. My grandfather was in the Second World War, so he's no longer with us, but I saw tonight that there's only, and Jesse, maybe it helped, there's only like a little over 300,000 people left.
It's a little bit more than that.
A little bit more than that.
It's about 300,000 that are slowly passing.
Yeah, so it's more important now than ever to remember that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, and I'm lucky enough to serve with with the Veterans Affairs Committee, and appreciate all of them.
Commissioner Legg?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First of all, I'd like to echo statements from Mayor Pro Tem and Mr. Marley, and appreciating the people who got us here today. Then I would like to thank Pastor Mathis for your kind words. They kind of hit soft spots tonight, but I appreciate your blessing upon this board, and that's where I agree with Mr. Marley. I think this board is doing a fantastic job. We get calls and complaints sometimes that we can do nothing about but moving forward. But I'd like to thank you and Mr. McLaughlin and Drew and the town staff, our police and fire departments, everyone that's involved in making Hope Mills move forward. And like the mayor said, we just get more proud of Hope Mills every day. I would like to bring one thing up. I got a email from Clay McLean, and I promised him I'd bring this up tonight, so I'm going to, and I've already talked to the police chief and the town manager about it, and I handed out, I couldn't get my computer to blow it up big, so I handed out to you the email. Do I need to read that publicly?
I mean, you can if you want to, that's totally up to you.
I will. I will. And it says, Jerry, this is Clay McLean. I would like to speak to you about the brewery parking situation. There is 50 to 75 cars parked on the road shoulder about every weekend. My concern is the families visiting the business are using the road for sidewalk. Somebody's going to get run over out there. It's the access to the Walmart trucks, sometimes 500 to 600 trucks a day. The trucks tend to blind you in oncoming traffic. I've had a couple of near misses myself out there. I just want anyone to get killed out there. Hope Mills zoning approved this business without enough parking. If someone gets killed, it could easily backtrack back to the town of Hope Mills. And he asked me to give him a call, which I did. And I told him I would personally give him a report tonight and let him know that I contacted everybody that I said I would. And I invited him to watch this tonight live so we could get something started on this. Were they approved that before we required sidewalks, Chancellor? Do you know?
The initial Dirtbag L's development, part 1, was approved in the county, no sidewalks. If you recall, they have just come back in and had Dirty Whiskey, another building on the property.
Yeah.
Since it's now in the town limits, that did trigger sidewalks. So they do have sidewalks that will have to be put in for the duration of the entire property. Chief Achardo and I have talked about this for about a year and a half. I've talked to the state troopers about it. We've talked to several officials. It's just a very unique situation where there is a very real public safety issue, but it's nothing that the owners of Dirtbag L's are doing wrong. There's nothing the town is doing wrong because the development is in full compliance with the parking requirements that the use requires in our zoning ordinance. It's a good problem to have. They have a business that's so successful that it generates so much traffic that people have to park down the street. But it's a DOT road. Corporation Drive is the DOT road. So it's not something our Public Works Department can enforce. It's in the county in terms of the area where the violations are taking place. So that's not in our jurisdiction. Once you leave that property, you're out of town limits. So it's just a very unique situation where our police department doesn't have first general authority. I think they have to come in as support from the sheriff's department, but every department we've talked to has this very gray area that they can't really do anything. I think DOT actually did post no parking signs, but they indicated that the only time they can get involved is if the embankment starts to erode. Mm-hmm. From my understanding, I think the sheriff's department has probably the strongest foothold on jurisdiction. But in terms of the town of Hope Mills, I don't think we actually have any authority to do anything about it, to be perfectly honest with you. We've had, I'm not sure if I've talked to this gentleman, but there's several people that I've talked to. This has been going on for about a year. But since the Dirty Whiskey development has moved forward in the last couple of months, there will be a sidewalk on the Dirtbag L's piece. And because of that Liberty Oaks development, Liberty Point development across the street, there will be a sidewalk. So there are going to be sidewalks along both sides of Corporation Drive that would possibly alleviate people walking directly in the street. But because of how many people frequent that business, there is not enough parking to be able to house all those cars on site. So even with the sidewalks, I don't think that's going to stop people from parking. The last time I went out there, I almost had to park at the Walmart distribution. But there's nothing illegal about that in terms of what Dirtbag L's is doing. They are well above the parking requirement that's required for that type of use. So I can't legally go to tell them to add more parking. They're in full compliance with our regulations. It's just a public safety issue that is a real issue, but it's a gray area in terms of who has the jurisdictional authority to enforce it. I think we're further down the totem pole in terms of the authority that people may think we have.
Well, thank you for that. I'm sorry, Mayor. Go
I was
ahead.
just gonna say, I did have someone call me, but their concern was the number of people that were there. They said that they're violating the governor's rule, and what were we gonna do in reference to the number of people that were there? And of course, we haven't got any enforcement guidelines, and I
that's
said,
it.
we don't, our police
Yeah.
aren't enforcing anything. But that was their concern, was there were too many people there. The
That's
parking
a-
was an issue, but the number of people
That's
was
a
the
prime
bigger
example
issue.
of what I mean by it is a real issue, but it's not an issue I think we have the authority to directly address. I think DOT posted no parking signs almost last
did.
year. Yeah, so this has been going on for a while. It's not something we're unaware of. It's just something that we really, like I said, I've talked to the sheriff's department, I've talked to state troopers, I've talked to our police, I've talked to the owners. It is a real issue, but everybody involved is actually trying to figure out how to deal with it. But it's not one solution that we can come up with that we actually have the authority to
Madam Mayor.
govern.
Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead.
I remember the issue of parking. We discussed that at length when we were considering the zoning of Big Whiskey Annex, the annex
The dirty
part.
whiskey,
Yeah.
yeah.
When they brought it in, I mean, we looked at the footprint. I know this board did. And we asked the very same questions. Is the parking going to be enough? And they're in full compliance.
Yeah.
So
And
there's
see,
nothing we
if you
can
think
do.
about it, our parking requirements are minimum requirements.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the authority if a parking ratio is one space for every 200 square feet and it requires 30 spaces. I can't require them to do 50 spaces. Now, some establishments like Lowe's, what you may have is they may have a 300 space requirement, but they'll put 400 spaces in on their own. They can do that. But I don't have the authority to make Dirtbag L's add more parking when they're in compliance with the minimum requirements. That's why I said it's really like a catch-22. They are so successful as
Yeah.
a business, and this is the other side of it. They're off Corporation Drive. I had never been on Corporation Drive until Dirtbag L's was open. So it's in a part of Hope Mills that we're trying to revive. It's in a part of Hope Mills that development is coming to, and this is probably the most successful business in the town by far.
Oh, yeah.
So it's an issue. It's just a very unique situation. But as of right now, there's nothing that the town of Hope Mills isn't doing because there's a vacuum in terms of the jurisdictional authority we have.
You know, at one time, Dirtbag L's was the best kept secret in Hope Mills.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah, and even when they brought the dirty whiskey piece, that building is just as big as the current brewery, but they have the parking design and outlined in compliance with what's required in our zoning ordinance. I'm not sure if that's going to make it better because right now they're doing beer, and this would allow them to distill alcohol, but a whiskey. But it's a great business model. They're doing an amazing thing with the business, but right now we don't have a direct answer to solve that problem.
I've only been out there one time, and that was election night for the results.
Yeah.
I think Mr. Bellflowers was there as well.
I've been out there several times. I'm going this weekend because it's a German fest that's out there. I mean,
Oh, yes, I have, yeah.
it's growing, no doubt.
The
It is.
programming.
They
things
have
of
a
that, just
farmer's
great
market.
business. Yeah.
It's
And
huge.
they're planning a big event for Christmas. I'm not sure the sidewalks is going to help out there. That's one place where sidewalks will encourage parking along the street. but at least the people won't be walking the street. Mr. McLean's concern was safety, not against the business.
Yeah,
He says he attends there
most of the
himself.
conversations I've had are public safety related. I don't think anybody has an issue with the business. I do know that I can say, in full disclosure, they're not there yet, but when the Dirty Whiskey piece is finished and Liberty Oaks first pad is finished, there will be a continuous sidewalk on both sides of the street just from the duration of both of those properties. I don't know what that will do to solve the problem. I think that will help. But I'm pretty sure we're still at least a couple months away from those sidewalks being put in.
Now I called him yesterday as he requested me to in that email, and I talked with him about an hour, and I enjoyed every minute of it because I used to work with the guy. I mean, we were pretty close buddies at one time. My nephew married his sister, and his sister works with my daughters at the hospital. So it's a long connection there. And he said he decided he would contact me to see if I can move it forward. I just want to see us do something. I've talked to the chief. Maybe we can encourage the sheriff's department to be out there and enforce the no parking. But that's not the total problem. You know, people still walking in the streets. And Mr. McLean's right. Somebody's going to get hit, and hopefully it's not a member of one of our families or a child. I just think we need to get on this ASAP and do the best we can to resolve the problem with the management out there. He gets along with the management well. He says he talks to them all the time, and they discuss this. I don't know. He might have been put up to call me. I don't know.
Well, I think, and from what I see, our role will be more helping to facilitate. Like you said, we can possibly continue to communicate with the sheriff's department, things of that nature, just to encourage and things of that nature. Like I said, I think the issue is that we don't have the authority, but we can. It is on our radar. I will continue to try to push to try to find some viable solution to it, but. As of right now, this is where we stand.
Yeah, during our conversation, he said he almost hit a lady with a stroller and a little boy. He said when the semi was coming, he said I was temporarily blinded, and when I got my focus, there was a little boy standing in my front fender, and I looked out to the right side, and there was a lady with a stroller. So there is a major safety issue at hand there. So if his number is on that paper I gave you guys, if you feel free, he gave me permission to give that number out. And if you want to talk with him, he'd be more than happy to talk with you. He's a very, very good man. And he doesn't normally complain about anything, but this safety issue has got him over a barrel now. But anyway, thank you very much. I hope you guys will be contacting him or the sheriff's department or somebody to enforce some of the no parking. But I don't know that that's going to help, especially with sidewalks. But it's my idea to put sidewalks on both sides of the street. We're still going to put them there. I think it's still the best thing. At least they might get out of the street and go to the sidewalk. So thank you very much for your information, sir. And Chief, thank you for having a discussion with me this evening pertaining to that. And hopefully, I would ask you to work with the sheriff's department to do what they need to do. And if they have a lot of people in there, the fire marshal may not be happy about that. If they're overcrowded, I don't know what their limit is they're allowed to have in there, but we may have to go that route if it's in violation. I don't have a dog in this fight, but I do have sympathy for people with families that could lose a loved one just to go have what they think is going to be a good time with their kids and their families. It is a nice family atmosphere out there sometimes, with the outdoor stuff they sponsor and the farmers market and all that. I've got a lot of good reports on people I spoke with today that were positive remarks about the establishment. But thank you guys very much for listening to me, and I appreciate it. I promised him I'd bring that up tonight, and I have, and I just ask our staff and our departments to work as closely as they can to see if we can resolve that situation. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Didn't mean to take so long.
Thank you. And I would like tonight to let you know that Roger Mullen, who has been our reporter for quite some time, is officially retired.
Oh.
And I do not know. In fact, I've been told that the coverage for local news is going to be less because the way they've restructured. But I did ask Ms. Adams that maybe at our next meeting we could recognize Roger because he has been he's covered us for quite some time. I don't know the route that the Sandspur will go. They've not given. I do know that Lori Williams, who was the editor, also retired. So I don't know what it's going to look like, but as soon as we find out, we'll probably need to look at ways that we can get information out to our public, because I know that they look for ways of finding out what's happening in the town of Hope Mills. I too wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. We have many of our churches that are not able to meet because of one reason or the other. We do have some churches that do have or are having special Christmas services. I encourage you to participate. Our small businesses, I know many are hurting right now. Our restaurants, it's a time where we need to help each other, and we need to help those that don't have the big marketing tools. Our Lowe's, our Walmarts, they're surviving in a great way. But you come to our bakeries and our small business, our small florists. Most people don't realize that our florists, who their biggest customer sometimes is church and funerals and things on Sunday, and that hasn't happened. So we're at that stage right now where if I can encourage anybody to do anything, support our small businesses and try to help them get through this holiday season and the end of the year, because many of them are struggling. And appreciate everything our staff's doing. Appreciate this board. I know that we've celebrate our season, but if you read the book of Luke right now, there's 24 chapters, and you can read a chapter every day before Christmas, and it tells you the struggles that even Jesus had in the times that we're in. But Merry Christmas. We'll see you in the new year, and of course the town listens, the town is open. I think that's the most important thing right now that we have going for us, is that if our citizens need something, they can call and they can get help. If they have to call one of us, or they call our town manager, but at Hope Mills listens, and we do offer hope for our citizens. So with that, do we have a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Have a motion to adjourn.
Merry
So
Christmas.
Merry Christmas all, and we'll see you
See you next year.